Hello everyone, welcome to the weekend gaming news roundup thing. Will it be weekly? Maybe? I'm Z-Slayer Dre, and let's get into some of the bigger video game news items from the last week. To start things off, I was unfortunately proven correct in my assessment of the monetization practices in the upcoming Marvel's Avengers game, which really is a shame. Square Enix, up until a few days ago, had been extremely tight-lipped on the actual monetization practices in Avengers, and they finally decided to release a long blog post going over all the details, and it will end up confusing most players, which is 100% by design. The worst item detailed in the blog post thesis paper is that there will be a $10 battle pass per character. Any battle pass at all would just be terrible news. But since there will be a separate one for each character, it's worse than most people could have imagined. We did see this in the beta, and while I did say in my beta impressions video that I predicted there would be paid battle passes, we now have official confirmation from Square. They are calling the battle pass challenge cards, one of the many ways they tried to confuse people, but you can call it whatever you want, it's still a battle pass. And out of the kindness in their hearts, the first battle pass for the 6 launch heroes will be free. Keyword being first, as I'm sure there will be many for each character. Any new hero added in, well, you'll have to pay extra, or use those credits you can potentially earn from the others to buy it. I've seen a lot of people say that you just need to buy one, then you can just use the credits you earn from each battle pass to buy others, but nowhere in the blog post does it specifically state that this is possible. So unless it's officially confirmed, I would assume that's not a case. And even if it is the case, you still have to grind like it's your job to level up each individual pass. But again, because Square is so kind, you can pay them to skip the grind. If there's an option to skip playing your game to earn an in-game reward because playing the game is so tedious, then something is fundamentally wrong with the way you designed your game. There will also be the soul-crushingly awful practice of rotating items on the store. Some of the cosmetic stuff you'll be able to get through in-game currencies, others will be paid only. And as with most games, the best cosmetics will be paid only. That's just how it works. And this is just at launch. I'm 100% sure at this point they will add an additional avenues for revenue down the line. The writing's on the wall. They have daily and they have weekly challenges, which means you have to log in every day for every character to grind up levels in the battle pass. Now, you can technically do it at your own leisure. They aren't going away, but still, it's going to take a significant amount of grinding to get the full battle pass. And a lot of people probably won't have put in enough time to buy the new battle passes as they come out. Also, like I said in my beta impressions, they might make the initial items free, then make them paid down the line, so reviewers can't say that the battle passes at launch are paid for technically, which is exactly what they're doing. Most people just want to jump in the game and have fun, not have to read an extensive blog post on how the game operates or have to look at a chart to see what comes in what version of the game. It's just a blatant way the publisher is trying to confuse or annoy people into spending money. We saw in the beta how tedious it will be to grind the battle pass levels. I'm sure it will annoy the crap out of a ton of people into just paying to skip the grind. The game is looking more and more pathetic by the day. But your pal, Z-Slayer Dre, bit the bullet and bought the game, so I will bear the burden of playing it for all of you, and I will review it. Seriously, even if you don't watch my review, just watch other reviews before buying the game. Although we've already seen enough to declare this game dead on arrival, never minding the fact that it's shipping with a significant amount of content missing and we'll have to wait months for it to be added in, I'll still give the game a fair review, and if by some miracle it ends up being amazing, I'll say it is. But all of these horrible monetization schemes are going to seriously drag down the game, even if it is good. Next up in the news, to absolutely no one's surprise, Activision-Blizzard did something shitty. Again, like I called it after 2K decided to raise its next-gen game prices to $70, I said that other companies will do the same. And here we now have Activision raising the next-gen Call of Duty's price to $70. Of course, that's just the starter pack fee, and it really depends on if there's a season pass or not as to if you'll actually get the full game for that price. Current gen prices will stay the same, but Sony didn't mandate that companies have to give the next gen upgrades for free to PlayStation players, so PlayStation players will have to pay an additional $10 to upgrade to the next gen version, or just buy a $70 cross-gen version. As far as I can tell, the PC and Xbox Ones are still $60, or at least the PC one is. I've been told the Xbox One is, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But that's because, if it is, that's because Microsoft mandated that the next gen upgrades have to be for free. They might still sell a specific next gen one on Microsoft for $70. I'm not sure how that, I don't think that's been announced yet. And of course, the game will still be loaded with microtransactions, battle passes on top of that. Given a year's time, I think we will start to see the starter pack price for games go up to $70, and the complete editions where you actually get the full game will go up to $110 to $150 depending on the game, if not even more. Also, we have companies like 505 Games making it so you have to buy a completely new edition of Control to play on next-gen consoles, which makes me never want to buy a game published by them ever again. Had I known they were going to pull that shit, I would have never bought Control in the first place. Next up, we had some Gamescom 2020 announcements. Nothing major, but I thought I'd at least mention some highlights. There was a slightly longer version of the Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart gameplay trailer we saw a few months ago. It's not really my cup of tea, but it does look very visually impressive, and I know a ton of people love that series, so I hope they get another amazing game to play. It's something I would consider reviewing if it's one of the only launch titles, so I still don't think we have a 100% confirmed launch title lineup, so I might end up getting it. We also got a very kind of strange glimpse at Dragon Age 4. Dragon Age Origins is hands down one of the best games ever made. The franchise has been an utter disappointment since then because, EA bought BioWare. And while 3 was definitely an improvement from 2, it was still just a mediocre game, although by today's standards, I would say it. If Dragon Age Inquisition was released in 2020, it would actually probably be considered a good game, even though technically it's really not. But that's just how far gaming has fallen in the past few years. Given BioWare is just a name at this point, the last 2 games they've squirted out were Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem. I think we all know what Dragon Age 4 will be like. The trailer was quite short and really only showed developer interviews and concept art, so we don't really learn much about the game outside some really vague statements that really tell us nothing. There's also a short trailer for World of Warcraft Shadowlands, which is slated to release on October 27th. You never know, stuff might get pushed back. It told us nothing about the upcoming expansion, although we already know a bit from older blog posts from Blizzard. Personally, I think it looks better than the dreadful BFA, but that's not saying anything at all. I am planning on doing reviews, so I'll at least be trying it out. I personally hope they can cut down on the grind. I don't mind some grind, but the grind is practically endless in Legion and BFA, and it really just wore me down. I've been playing WoW Classic lately, and while it definitely has its grind in its own way, I am having just so much more fun than I've had in any WoW expansion for quite some time. I really wish they could go back to classic TBC or Lich King quality, but I think the glory days are long past us, or even really the mediocre days, maybe. Mediocre is really the best we can hope for. I have no expectations from Activision-Blizzard these days other than the expectation to be disappointed, and I do have to say they really failed to deliver on that. Nothing else from Gamescom announcements really stood out to me. It was mostly just DLC announcements more than anything else, or, a few things we already knew about. So anyways, those were just a few interesting gaming news stories I found from the last week and wanted to share. I'm curious how everyone feels about Square Enix's and Activision Blizzard's horrible business practices, so let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. And if there's anything from the Gamescom announcements that you're excited for, let me know. Maybe there's something I overlooked and I should keep my eye on. I'd be, interested to find out. If you like this news roundup and want to see more, also let me know. I'm thinking of doing it maybe every other week, maybe weekly. Sometimes there's not enough news to do it every week, so every other week seems better. If you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you did and hit the notification bell, and be sure to like the video. I do gaming news along with an in-depth look at the gaming industry practices from kind of a business perspective, along with gaming reviews, and some odd-and-end videos too here and there. I'm just about done with my Ghost of Tsushima review, and I'm hoping to have the Avengers one done just a few days after release. That one's going to be up pretty quick compared to other videos. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.